up.
Yeah. So there's something I wanted to ask you around creativity, which is the relationship between creativity and biology. I think you have some secret formula that you discovered.
So
you know, this research side of you, you know.
Yeah. So this is really the work that's going in this coming book. It's called Innovate Next. So
yeah.
You know, I do a bunch of things. I read a bunch of books on different topics, and I think a year ago or more, I bumped into evolutionary psychology. So, and then I read up on quite a lot around it. So what it says is, it tries to figure out why behaviorally, why do we make the decisions that we make? What's the relationship between our biological makeup and our psychology. So it's really and it's a scientific way really of sort of figuring out how we are and how we got here. So in the story, it's how we got here. Maybe linking innovation to biology is this: when we think of our mind. So we are the only species, the human race is the only species that can make man-made products and innovate them further and further. We can make computers, we make cars, we make all this sort of things. So we are the only species or organism that can do those things. And we often disassociate that this mind is gifted to us by biology, meaning we evolved from something, because, well, the biology is clear on this, that we evolved over billions of years to really get to being human beings. As they put it, is that it's and I'll link this to something I'm going to say ahead. Life started as a single cell organism, and it evolved into multicellular organism, which we are. Like, human beings are multicellular organisms. So this brain that we have, which can innovate all these things, does so because of biology. So the mere innovating, it's biology in play. And I've figured that all innovations have to really meet, or they have to mirror our biology. All like for instance, let me give an example with what, say, a movie, right? You're watching a movie, say it's a comedic movie, and it making you laugh, it's hitting your biological inclination, which is like it's hitting. Laughing is an emotion, it's an expressive expression of emotion. So it seems that as human beings, we have that humor. So when you make a product that mirrors that emotion, that can recognize humor, that's like innovation is just that. It's making things that make people move biologically. Cigarettes, they are addictive, nicotine. We get addicted to them because, well, it turns out nicotine is an addictive substance. So that substance really, it's reacting to when we take nicotine through cigarettes, it's reacting to our biological makeup. So cigarettes are successful. It's more than that reason, but one of the reasons is that they cause a biological reaction in us. Hence they are successful. And the other thing, I remember when I was a kid, I dabbled with smoking, and I was doing it really just to look cool. And trying to look cool, it's a human inclination. We want to feel a certain way. We want to be appreciated a certain way. We want to be feared a certain way. All those emotions, all those wants, they've got a rooting in biology. Like it's our psychology, our biological psychology. Like that's how we are made. So everything, I recently wrote this other article just to really explain the connection between biology and innovation. When I think the title was "God made man in His image, and man should innovate in His image for His innovations to be successful. So when we innovate, all these innovations have to mirror our biological inclinations, our behavioral inclinations.
Okay, interesting. Yeah. So look, I think obviously we'll not be able to cover it because this is quite a topic
sure.
in itself. But definitely in terms of any links, definitely link up your blog, and maybe you know, people can be able to read a little bit more on this because it's an interesting concept.
Yeah. I mean, sorry, man. Let me just sorry, just to push it. I think that's the last point I wanted to really throw in explaining innovation. So how I even the 4IR, fourth industrial revolution. When you look at the definition of the 4IR, it says it's a fusion, a blurry fusion of Internet of Things, 5G, biology. It's a mix-up of all these different disciplines. So that's exactly how innovation has been. So innovation, you're mixing two or more things. So when you're innovating, you're mixing two or more things. Think of YouTube. So YouTube, if you had to break it down, it's a mixture of internet and video. So internet has existed before YouTube, and video has existed even way before video. So when you mix those two, they make an agile tool, which is a video streaming service. So innovation just really is mixing up two or more things. Think of a chair, either taking a hard substance, maybe say wood, and you are mixing it with a geometric shape that allows human beings to sit. So that shape doesn't allow other animals to sit on it. It allows the human sort of shape to sit on. So you're just taking those things and you're mixing them, and that's innovation. And further, steel is created, so you're making a steel chair. I mean, I can guess maybe came first a wooden chair, then a steel chair. So innovation is just mixing those two things, which again in how biology innovates is just mixing two things. How we got to here we are. Single cell organisms sort of created a form of marriage, meaning they intertwined and they created multicellular organisms. So innovation is just mixing up two or more things. And so to innovate, you need to what? You need to mix up a bunch of things. First industrial revolution, second, third, and fourth. It's just that we are always fusing things. When you fuse technology and biology, is biotechnology. So innovation is just really mixing two or more things to get a newer use or a newer agile use. And that's that. And it has to mirror our biology for it to be successful. So meaning emotionally or somehow you must be inclined to use it, meaning you must get some sort of utility. Even if it's drugs, you know, drug addicts get utility out of drugs. It's not logical, but it is what it is. That's hence they buy it. So sure.
So thank you for that. So before I let you go, there's one thing that I want to ask you. What is this, the human greed pyramid? You know, it sounds very fascinating because it seems to sound more on the behavioral side and maybe just feeding off of what foundations you've laid.
Sure.
Yeah, just, you know, and maybe just tell us about it and where it fits and your research and learnings about it.
Really, no, when I got into this sort of reading about like even in this book, I'm mixing biology and entrepreneurship. So again, just how you know, I guess when you are innovative, you mix two things. So I was trying to figure out how can I model an understanding of this sort of theory that I was reading up about evolutionary psychology, evolutionary biology, and really understanding entrepreneurship. And I drafted a couple of things up, and I thought maybe in a pyramid sense it will make sense of how civilization moves forward. So a description of the human grid pyramid, people can Google it. The human grid pyramid. It's a way that shows how civilization moves forward. All right, and I'll explain it. At the top of the pyramid, it's what I call novel innovation. So I'm starting at the top. So just picture a pyramid at the top. Sure. So it's a mixture of, well, when you create something new that really mirrors people's biology, it moves civilization forward, meaning before someone created the internet, and then the minute they created it, it was a novel thing. So it moved our civilization forward. Hence, I put it as hence I say it's novel innovation.
Yeah.
So it moves civilization forward because it's a new thing that's not in existence. And below that, it's what I call enterprising innovation. So enterprising innovation is that someone discovers something new, and someone below that, which is enterprising innovation, they other people come to sell that the innovation that you've made. Think of the first guy who made a car, and then how many companies now are there that make cars. So they're not creating anything new. They're just taking what someone produced, or rather what someone discovered or invented, and then they're selling it to the masses. So I call that enterprising innovation. And even religion falls within that. I mean, someone formed Christianity or whatever religion, and then the priests, the churches, I call them enterprising. I call it enterprising innovation, because they are taking something that's there and then putting it to use to the people. And below that, I call it's culture. So culture, it's everything that human beings do. Using the internet is now a culture. So an innovation that really gets successful becomes it becomes a cultural phenomenon. So religion, YouTube, internet, video, everything, they are cultures. Cultures, everything that we do, including those who take drugs. It's a culture. So culture is that, and then below that, it's what I call function cognition. Function cognition is how we understand innovations, or rather how we understand how we can get utility from those innovations. You see YouTube, okay, your mind somehow understands that I can watch some fun videos, and then you use it because it mirrors your deeper aspirations or inclinations. And I call them behavioral inclination. So our function, let me give you another example. When we were kids, even today it still happens. We love sweets, right? And we always want sweets. We get to an age wherein they tell us they don't have money. You don't really care of what is money, but you care of what money can get you. So you realize, okay, money can get me sweets. So that's function cognition. So that's how our mind understands what can get utility from things. That's what function and below that, it's behavioral inclinations. So behavioral inclination is just that sweets, they're sweet. I mean, the science says we evolved into liking sweets because our ancestors used to consume. That's how they got into sugar, right? Meaning it was a life and death situation, okay, wherein you eat whatever you can eat, plants, fruits, and then you find out, okay, the sweet ones don't really kill you. That's
a good one.
The beta, they say that the beta plants really, some of them are poisonous, and more so the sweet ones are not poisonous. So it was like a logical thing. Let me eat this because it's sweet and it doesn't kill me. And we build, our beings innovating. We build up into that, and that's how we got to liking sugar, because it's an evolutionary trait, right? So above that, even kids like sugar because every product in stores, most of them, they've got sugar. So sugar is like wired into us from ancestrally and even from birth. And below that, below behavioral inclination, it's nature, and nature includes people. Everything that's on earth comes from really nature, and every product that we consume today is made out of nature. Even plastic, even medicine that we call Western medicine or processed medicine, everything is made out from nature. Even if we say it's not organic, but every little thing comes from nature. So you understand it. To show you how the pyramid builds up, you've got nature including people, and then these people have got some behavioral inclinations, and behavior. Biology defines behavior as everything that we do. even our psychology, our reflexes, everything that we do. So those inclinations, they make, so it's nature at the bottom, and then it's behavioral inclination. So those behavioral inclinations lead us to liking what? To wanting to wanting sweets. And our function cognition, because somehow it's wired into us, the liking of sugar is wired into us. We say, we understand we like sweets, but we want sweets. And it goes up again to culture. So culture is everything that we do. So that culture is supported by, we understand that this sweet thing will give us utility. It'll, that sugar, it will give us, we like sugar. So we understand that, okay, this thing gives us sugar. And that is because of our behavioral inclinations, and we practice it and it becomes culture. So culture is everything that we do. Eating is culture, movies is culture. And then it goes to, again, enterprising innovation again. And the top of the pyramid, it's novel innovation. Maybe just to run it down, someone in another form, someone discovered processed sugar, and then that's novel innovation. It was a first, not that they discovered sugar, but they discovered how to make processed sugar. And then the enterprising innovators take that method of making sugar and make sugar for the masses. Sugar becomes part of our culture, and then it's part of our culture, and it's successful because our function cognition, or we can say it's our dumb mind, because we really don't know why we like certain things. Our mind understands that we like this thing, and hence it's culture. And we like those things because behaviorally they are sort of wired into us biologically. And at the bottom is nature, which is where everything comes from. That's the human grid pyramid. So people can just Google the human grid pyramid. It will take them to my website, and then they can read up on it.
So I'll also put a link anyway to your sites, and because I mean, as I said, we can't exhaust it in one conversation. But so refreshing, man. Just hearing all these thoughts and things that you've been up to. And also the fact that you've also created utility and value, through the resources that you've packaged, as well as the information that you've continued to disseminate through, whether it's your blog or the different engagements that you do speak. I don't know, maybe any closing thoughts as we wrap up? I don't know if there's anything else you just wanted to say.
I think I've said most of the things. I mean, I continue writing a lot of blogs, for the past, like I said, in the past 10 years, I've written a bunch of things on entrepreneurship. So I guess, I would direct everyone to my blog, Tiisetso Maloma.com. You put up the link, and I mean, the learning doesn't stop, man. So the learning and trying out things doesn't stop. So maybe those are my last wise words.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate it, and such a pleasure just to connect. Even with level 3 restrictions, it is not locked, so at least we can talk.
No, thanks, man. Certainly I had fun, on just chatting to you, and you are a great interviewer, my brother.
Thank you, man. I mean, it's I think this would be probably the first video recording. So I think we'll probably just do a bit of edit and whatever, then get it onto YouTube. But definitely I'm gonna get the audio, and it's gonna filter through into the podcast.
Sure.
And distribute across all the other channels. So let's keep in touch. I think I suspect when you stop recording, the video will probably save.
I think it will save. It will save automatically.
And then maybe just we need to figure out a way to share it. I don't know, WeTransfer.com. I don't know.
All right, and I'm also planning on studying my show, and it will be great to have you on, my brother.
Thank you, man. I think it's a wonderful time to really create. The reason, one of the reasons why I'm very proud of you in terms of, and I'll still want to do another discussion maybe along the way, just on writing alone, because it's about storytelling. We didn't even get to storytelling, because I'm very passionate about that topic, especially for us as Africans. Because most of our stories have been told by somebody else, and then obviously we've been mischaracterized completely. And I really feel it's so important to have, writers, people who are telling our own stories, ourselves stepping on the platforms and telling our own stories in our own terms. Because I think we understand the context, and it's actually much better. There's a lot of dignity within ourselves when we're able to tell our stories.
I totally agree. Totally. Yeah.
Great. So
yeah, man. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a lovely one. And it's a pleasure. Let's keep in touch.
Let's keep in touch, man. Thanks a lot. Cheers.
Okay, cheers. Okay.
So I can end the thing.
Yes, you can. You can end the thing. Cool.
Yeah. Cheers.